Hi, guys. Some of the questions today for reading are asking you the plot of the story. Okay, so I would like to review a little bit about what does the plot mean and how specific do you need to be when you go back in the text to determine the plot. So we're going to look at a small example of a boy named Calvin, okay, to explain when you are plotting the points or plotting the story, how detailed do you need to be? So follow along in the slide to kind of help you and visualize the story. So remember, the plot in reading refers to the sequence of events in a work of literature. The first event causes the second causes the third, and so on. So in reading, this might look like a mountain to you, a roller coaster. So you're going to diagram or just write out in today's story the plot. Okay, so the beginning, we've got a boy named Calvin. So in the beginning of a story, we meet Calvin or the main character. Okay, in the middle, this is the story of Calvin and the steep hill. Let's continue along. So we can either say in the beginning, it's the exposition, that's a fifth grade word, or an introduction. That's the part of the plot in which the reader is given important background information about the character, in this case, Calvin, and the setting. This inciting incident is introduced. So in this story, Calvin is 5 years old. His dream is to ride his bike up the steep hill at the park. So we learn who the main character is. We learn the setting of the story. That incident is the first event that sets the plot in motion and introduces the conflict. That's what we say in fifth grade, instead of a problem. So one day, we're right here in this diagram. Calvin sets out to fulfill his mission. It is a very steep hill, and Calvin is terrified. At this point, that conflict or problem is taking shape right here in the diagram. We're not writing an essay. This is just a couple sentences. Conflict, remember, is the problem or struggle happening in the story between another force. Okay? We're going to keep going in that plot diagram. Next, Calvin is facing an internal conflict, which means within himself. He is terrified to ride up that steep hill. Poor Calvin. So that is his main problem. Then we get to the rising action, which is right here in the diagram. It's a series of events that begin to occur as soon as the conflict is introduced. These incidents add complications to his conflict. Readers at this point usually become more interested in the story. Calvin's big brother tells him about all of the people who've gotten hurt on the hill. This scares him even more. Uh-oh. More rising action means readers are becoming more interested. Calvin's legs begin to ache. He doesn't think he can make it up that hill. Then the climax, the turning point, the moment of the greatest tension. Oh no. Calvin hits a rock and is about to fall down the hill. He hears someone coming up from behind. What will happen? The falling action, that tension decreases. The loose ends are all being tied up. That conflict is being resolved. Calvin's brother steadies his bike, and Calvin does not fall. He's made it up the hill. Now he will have a picnic with his family. Oh, we're coming to an end. We call it the resolution. In fourth grade, you probably called it a conclusion. In fifth grade, it is a resolution, the outcome of events, the conflict, and the climax have been resolved. Calvin proudly tells all his friends that he made it all the way up the steep hill. Okay, so if we look right here at the diagram again, this is either referred to as the mountain in reading. I call it a roller coaster. If we look at all of the events, we weren't writing an essay, okay? Just a couple sentences giving the main details in order from beginning, middle to end of the story. So today, you will be asked, okay, to not diagram, but just kind of read